Hello and welcome again to today's episode. I am your regular facilitator, Julius Afolabi. I want to strongly believe everything is going on very well with you. It is important, first of all, for you to understand that life is not a right but a privilege, and that's the reason why it is expected that we live our lives profitably. At the same time, whatever it is that we may get ourselves involved in or that may engage us requires that we substantiate its value so that we can give essence and credence to the validity of our life. And today we are looking at a very interesting subject. What are two critical success factors of high yielding investors? I mean, people talk about investment almost every day. Some people have quite a volume of idle cash and thinking of an investment to really make. Some people want to invest but are not clear about what exactly to invest in. And some people have made wrong investments and are trapped, ignorant about how to get out of it. And some people can't just seem to know when to really back out from a failing investment. It is important that before you make any investment or invest in anything at all, one of the critical success factors of strategic investors is that they understand the reason why they are investing. What is the purpose of the investment? Am I investing to make gain, or am I investing to create future value that I can take advantage of? Do I want to have an asset, a long-term asset that gives me regular returns while my initial investment capital remains? And then, or do I just want to make speculate and make a little gain out of what I have? For instance, if I have the liberty of an amount, access to some amount of money for probably a period of 90 days, and I may be contemplating what can I do with this money in 90 days. Supposing somebody gives you an amount of money and say, I'll be back to get it in 90 days. And then you're thinking, keeping this money idle with me will be very unresourceful and financially unwise. And you're thinking, what can I invest in that will be beneficial to me and to the person who has left the money with me? First of all, it is based on trust that the person can leave this money with you. And then you also must trust your competence, your awareness, your understanding to be able to profitably put these particular funds into use, so that you don't lose your credibility with that particular person. At the same time, will not have to be running at a loss, because you will be personally liable for what has been given to you. So that trust is going to stand on your ability to be able to rightly put that amount of money into use. So first thing will come to your mind is, okay, should I invest in a business? What kind of business do I invest in? Or do I put it in a fixed deposit or treasury bills, which is better? Or do I leave it in a savings account? You understand? Leaving the money with the bank actually is really, you're just funding the bank. You're just helping the bank to do better. Why can't you think like the bank is thinking? Why can't you? Because you aren't sure. So what do? You go out questioning. You go out on a survey from experts in that field. Now, the good thing is that questions are free. It's only answers that carry a cost. At the same time, as you go a survey of possibilities about the security of that particular income and the reliability of the returns that you expect, and what the industrial rate is. What is the current rate of returns in a perfect system, an organized system? If a bank is going to give me 10% on a particular investment, I should know that that's a minimum interest rate from an organized system. So if I'm expecting something more, That means I should be careful about who is going to give me more, and know and understand the particular business or the subject or object of investment. The subject and the object of investment, I must clearly understand. I must also know the character of the persons that are involved in that particular business. So most of the time we find people with huge resources but are confused about where exactly to put these funds. So first thing to do is to be clear about what exactly that you want. Another thing to do is to crunch the numbers. Now, what fails a lot of people, or what initiates loss with quite a number of people, is their inability to crunch the numbers. Many people are only excited about the rate of the returns without thinking about the security of the capital. The rate of return without thinking about the security of the capital. At the same time, the volatility of the business that is involved. So how volatile is the business that I am going to put my money in? If I'm going to plant maize, is it rainy season that can facilitate? Do I have an irrigation system that can power it? How long does it take to survive? Do I have a ready market that is ready to pick the plant at the point of harvest and be able to recoup back the capital and make a little margin? Do I have an idea of the current price of corn in the market, since the gestation period of corn is 3 months? At the same time, I have a treasury bill that will mature in 90 days. And if I'm going for treasury bills, that means that what? I will be taking my interest up front, right? I get immediate interest and it's more secure. It's sure that in 90 days I can liquidate. Now, it has to be 90 days. And then look at the two scenarios. Okay, I want to go into agriculture, I want to plant corn, and I want to put it in treasury bills. Now, both instances, you can't go to the farm and uproot the corn when it is not yet ripe. Supposing the person shows up in 2 months and wants the cash back, what do you do? Now, supposing the person comes back wants the money in 2 months, what do you do? You can't uproot the plants. Neither can you what? Liquidate that particular investment. That's, I mean, the treasury bills. It has to mature at 90 days. Now, the backdrop or your backup would be, do I have equal amount of that money to give to the person if he demands for it before the maturity of that particular investment? That's why in banking we have cash backed deposit. You understand? You are making fixed deposit and then you don't have any collateral, but you have a deposit in your bank account. So all the bank does is put a right of lien on the amount that you have to cover for the amount they want to give to you. Do you understand? So we have cash back loans like that. So that's an investment as well. So you have to think of all, you have to be clear about what the person, and you have to crunch the numbers. What do I mean by crunching the numbers? Check. How much am I putting into this investment? What is the yield? Now, do I have a ready market? Is the maturity period certain? What is the level of risk? What is the reliability of the person that is involved? All these indices are fundamental and practical. So in investment, you've got to be what? Logical. You've got to be even spiritual. You don't depend on your nuances, and instincts are okay. Instincts are important, but you don't have to depend on your nuances. I will prefer you undertake a scientific method of crunching the numbers to establish what exactly is required before you commit your funds. So most importantly, crunch the numbers. I have a friend, a business friend, who before he takes any loan, having known that I was a well-experienced banker, will come to me and ask, what is this? We'll look at the figures together. We'll look at the payback period. We'll look at the yield and the business is investing in, how is the returns, the demand. We calculate, we crunch numbers. When we have a positive variance, he goes for it. So these are the methods or the science of strategic investors in hitting highly profitable investment opportunities. Once in a while, you find government is in possession of quite a huge amount of money, and there are also societal infrastructures that require quite a huge investment. And they have land. Sometimes they have land, they have access to funds, and there is a societal demand. So rather than sitting down to strategically do this, their own selfish interest, that's where the clarity of investment objective is important. Now, I stay in a very small town called Calabar in Cross River State in Nigeria. Some time ago, there was this land expanse of land that was for the government, and there is obvious housing, deficit in the town or in the metropolis. Now, rather than selling those portion of land to individuals and getting the money that will go into undefined pockets and no societal impact or governance effectiveness, why don't you sit down with the bank? You have access to funds, you have your regular federal allocation, which the bank goes directly to that bank. The bank can give you a facility. All you need to do is to just sit down and discuss with an estate developer who looks at the expanse of land, and then you secure a facility from the bank backed up by your federal allocation, and create an estate and housing unit for the government over time. All you have to do is to ensure that the developer is going to complete the project in record time. At the same time, there's already market for it, and then the pricing, and then the profit agreement, and before you know it, you have been able to achieve. That is as a government. In the first instance, we look at it as a person or as a business. Now, as a government, these are investment opportunities that can be taken advantage of. So sitting down with strategically like that to look at the necessities, the societal necessities, our own avalanche of finance, and then the expanse of land for the infrastructure. So we have a unified investment that is profitable to the government and then also impactful to the society, at the same time taking full advantage of the resources that are within your reach. So investment is not actually a difficult thing, but it's the ability to sit down to be able to clarify your investment objective and to be able to sit down to crunch the numbers, thinking strategically, thinking mathematically, thinking practically with a scientific method that is realistic, putting into consideration all the exogenous and the endogenous factors that may affect the object of investment, the people involved, and the facilities that are involved. So when we put this into perspective, we find out that it is practically possible to invest risk-free or at minimum risk and get high profit yielding investment done. The security of the capital is there. At the same time, the reliability of the returns on investment is equally there. And I feel that in this little discussion we have had today, it's clear that you can actually invest if you will sit down. Somebody say it's beyond words. They are not as easy as Julius Afolabi is enumerating right now. Yes, they may not be practically as easy as that, but when you sit down with facts and figures, that's why I'm talking about a scientific methodology that understands the rudiments, the fundamentals, and the technicals of investing and the object of investment and the people involved in the investment. To a large extent, you are safe with your funds, and you'll be able to maximize your minimum to get the optimum. So you have some money, ask questions, verify. It's good to trust, but verify. Your verification is what gives you confidence of participation. And when you're confident in your participation, you mustn't leave out supervision. You supervise so that you know when to pull out. When the object of investment begins to dwindle in its return, and you have established the economic indices alongside the volatility of your capital, it's time to pull out. It is not your emotional connection to the investment that determines your security. In fact, it makes you a victim. So you must not be emotionally connected, but what? Be objectively what? Connected to your investment. I'd like you to like this video, share it with someone, and I'll be glad to take your questions, and we'll be glad to have you back again on this dial. Thank you, and God bless you.